Okay, great. Okay. AI note taker helps. Well, good morning, everyone. It is 9:02 a.m. and it's my pleasure to call to order this January 9th, 2026 CoC General Membership Meeting at 9 a.m., where we are going to hold our annual elections. So I'm Kathleen Beckman, and I'm chair of the Board of Directors for the Pinellas Continuum of Care. So I'm welcoming you all as people are coming on line to the meeting. This is our, I don't know if it's our first all virtual. I'm sure we had some during COVID. It's hard to remember that far back, but it is an all virtual meeting, and we are hoping that it will go smoothly with technology. I want to wish you all a happy new year and trust that everyone is doing well, and we're excited and motivated to continue the work of the CoC in 2026. As we start this meeting, and as I start all our meetings with the CoC Board of Directors meetings and general membership meetings, it's important to take a minute to review our mission and vision and our priority populations and interventions. This is, I believe, good practice, but it's also been a request of our Lived Experience Advisory Committee co-chairs that we continue to emphasize why we're here and the work that we do. So on the first page of your agenda, you'll always find the mission and vision. And the mission is to coordinate. So the CoC group our mission is to coordinate all community partners, systems, and resources available with the goal of helping individuals and families to prevent, divert, and end homelessness in Pinellas County. And we are a HUD mandated organization. And the CoC vision is to make homelessness rare, brief, and a one-time experience. Part of the continuum of care is to determine and affirm what the priority populations and interventions are. And those may change as conditions change and data changes. And for 25-26, our priority populations are households with the following vulnerabilities and or risk factors. And those are life-threatening health conditions and accessibility conditions, severe and persistent mental illness or substance use disorder, domestic violence within the past 3 years, risk of harm and exploitation, and the length of time in homelessness, if they're chronic. Our priority populations are the chronically homeless households, veterans, families with minor children, older adults, where we see increasing numbers, and youth 18 to 24. And our priority interventions are certainly to invest in securing and maintaining emergency shelters, to invest in rapid rehousing and wraparound services, to set long-term goals for permanent supportive housing capacity. Obviously, prevention is the biggest bang for the buck, transitional housing, and street outreach. And so just want to make sure we keep those priority populations and interventions and our purpose front and center as we go forward with our work. So this general membership meeting that we're beginning at 9 a.m. is being held to conduct our annual election for the Board of Directors of the CoC. So we'll be voting on vacant seats, and we'll be voting on the re-election for those who are holding seats and want to maintain those seats. A vote of confidence for the full board will be conducted at the Board of Directors meeting that will immediately follow this meeting. And right now, the CoC has 6 vacant seats on our Board of Directors, and we currently have 7 Board of Director members who are eligible for re-election. Our lead agency is the Homeless Leadership Alliance in Pinellas County, and their CEO is Sherry Holzbacher, who's here on our Zoom call, and that lead agency will conduct the 2026 Board of Directors election process. So Sherry will give us a review, and then we will conduct that election. All good, Sherry? You're on mute, Sherry.
There we go. Beautiful technology. Thank you, Kathleen, Chair Beckman. I do believe we are ready. I think we just reached quorum for general membership.
Great.
Okay, very good. So to go over the process here, I want to note that, of course, we've had a very busy fall with the NOFO that's come down and just multiple things that have been happening over the year 2025. And so for the elections, I know this is the way it was kind of handled last year. We're following the procedures that are in the charter. However, for future elections, there are some process improvements after going through this process that I think will be very helpful, including having a nominating committee earlier on and maybe holding the election earlier in the year. So like in November, for instance, so that by the time January comes, everyone has been fully oriented and onboarded and is ready to be seated at the during the January board meeting. In the interim, the HLA has gone through and we made sure that everyone who applied to be a member or a candidate, I'm sorry, on the slate, we reached out to everyone who was going to be up for reelection to ensure that they were members as well, to make sure that they still had interest. We vetted as best we could for each person to make sure that they had met the qualifications for eligibility. I was in frequent communication with Chair Beckman around candidates as well. And so every candidate had to be a member between January 1st and December 26th. At some point, they needed to join or renew their membership during that period. And so we have made sure that that was met. The way that we are going to move forward here is that only CoC members who joined, same criteria here, who joined or renewed membership between January 1st and December 26th of 2025 can vote. The ballot will be electronic. It's through Microsoft Forms. It will give us immediate results, but HLA team will take a few moments after the ballots have been cast to review and ensure that we have members that are responding and that everything is copacetic there. And then we will be able to release the results before the end of this meeting and before we begin the CoC board meeting, where anyone who is elected will then be seated at the board meeting that immediately follows. If there is more than one seat available, so for instance, for business seat, for the at-large seats, and there's one more lived experience seats. There are 2 seats available for each one of those that are open and where we have candidates. And so for those on the ballot, it limits you to picking 2 seats and that's it. But you can pick 2 seats because it'll be one ballot. The top 2 will move on to be the final folks voted in. And so there will be, where there is more than one seat, I just want to make sure it's clear, where there is more than one seat, you are able to vote that number of seats. Okay. There's also on the ballot the option to abstain, so that if you don't feel that a candidate is that you don't want to give a vote there, then you can abstain as well. There's an asterisk which requires a response to every single section on the ballot. So that is another reason why we added that abstain there as well. So we know that if there is active abstention, we can take that into consideration and report that. Okay. Each candidate, because we have a slate of 10 candidates, each candidate will be given 2 minutes to speak. And so we will begin that in a moment for those candidates that were able to come in. Some candidates, I see that they have made it, but there are some people who, due to illness or other reason, work requirements that they had no control over, may not be able to make it in today. And so I will go over very quickly the seats that are open and the candidates that have been ascribed to those seats. So we have 2 business seats that are open. Monica Discolo, Jason Mathis, and Cal Tiger have all been nominated for those seats. For faith-based organization, Dr. Joseph Smiley, For lived experience, we have incumbents Michael Cretion and incumbent Gary Small. For at large, we have 2 seats, both incumbents, Teresa Jones and Anne Marie Winters. For the veteran or veteran organization seat, we had, I want to just share this, Blossom Capper. She was eligible for reelection with Judith. She endorsed Judith Warren to go for this seat on the VA instead of the VA. So Judith Warren is on the ballot. And then for workforce development and transportation, we have 1 seat, incumbent Ross Silvers with the PSTA. Okay, so I want to begin with business seats. If we could have Monica Discolo. You have 2 minutes.
Hi there. Good morning. Sorry about that. I'm also at work, so a little bit of noise. I'm Dr. Discolo. I have been participating in HLA meetings as much as possible. I used to be part of the Hillsborough CoC. I am interested in rejoining and getting back into the community. I have extensive experience with vulnerable populations, with homeless individuals. I serve on the board of directors of a nonprofit at this time, and I also work in healthcare. So I work with substance use, and we also offer primary care services as well on site through providers at our clinics and locations. So I'm the program quality manager for New Season nationally. But I do reside in Pinellas County, and I oversee the 2. I assist with overseeing in Pinellas Park area, as well as Tarpon Springs. So we have about 90 centers for New Season. But just myself as a candidate, I'm definitely always centered on patient care, and homelessness is very near and dear to my heart. And I've worked in several different organizations and departments that serve homeless individuals. And I think that I would be able to bring some value to the board. I used to help with rank and review in Hillsborough County. So I used to help assessing with proposals and scoring there. I have my doctorate degree, and I also serve as a mentor and oversee research for doctoral candidates. So a lot of pages, a lot of words that I help review. I also publish research. I'm a small business owner. I'm an author. I'm an artist. I'm just very heavily involved as much as I can be in the community. And I would just love the opportunity to be able to serve with you all and make some changes and kind of give you updates too on the healthcare field or any fields that I'm a part of. Specifically in my role at one of the organizations I work for is I oversee our mobile units that provide care across the country. So that's a newer development that I've gone to different boards for and communicate with the DEA about. So I feel I have a lot of different perspectives and information, or just I'm just I love to problem solve. So anything that and I apologize, I'm in Portland right now, just seeing one of my units. I visit quarterly, so it's 6 a.m. for me right now, so I'm on a different coast. So I apologize if it's dark. So I came in a room and put the lights on to just speak with you all
And we're
today.
at 2 minutes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Monica. Thank you, Dr. Discolo. So New Season is a for-profit business, and that is why they were selected for this as a candidate for this seat. Thank you. Okay, next.
Carrie,
Do we?
can I
Yes.
just say, for what seat is Dr. Discolo being considered for?
For the business seat, one of the business seats. They applied and had paid for membership as a business.
Okay, and we have 2 business seats. Is that my understanding? We have 1 vacancy?
2 business seats and 2 vacancies.
Okay.
Yes. Or 2 available seats are available right now. Thank you. Okay. Jason Mathis, are you on?
I am. Good morning.
Good morning. You have 2 minutes, please, sir.
Okay, start the clock. Feels like testifying at city council.
Okay,
so-
Jason.
Yeah, I know. This will sound familiar to you, Councilmember Sanders. My name's Jason Mathis. I am the CEO of the St. Petersburg Downtown Partnership. We are a business association that tries to focus on thoughtful growth and urban challenges in the downtown area of St. Petersburg, Florida. I've got, I have about 30 years of experience in nonprofit management. I worked in healthcare for a nonprofit hospital corporation for about 4 years. Worked in tourism and marketing for about 12 years. But the last 18 years have been spent in urban management and urban issues. I moved here from Salt Lake City about 7 years ago, and I led the downtown organization in Salt Lake City for 10 years. And it was very, very involved in the continuum of care in Salt Lake City and Utah. Really, Utah just has sort of one main metro area, and so was very involved there as a business representative. I think the one of the things I might bring to the role is helping to create greater connectivity between the business community and nonprofit providers, folks who are experiencing homelessness. There's not always a clear connection in business leaders' minds about how it impacts them or the role that they can play in helping to find thoughtful, compassionate solutions. But certainly there are lots of other downtown organizations through the state that have helped to bridge that gap. Miami is a great example where the downtown organization in Miami goes to the legislature every year and advocates for additional resources to help support services in Miami because they recognize the relationship between the business community and helping people move out of homelessness or find solutions for that. So that's something that I hope to do. I've been here for 7 years. We focused a lot on planning, trying to help look at managed growth, at thoughtful initiatives in the downtown area. Have not had much experience in St. Pete yet in providing direct services for downtown, but that's something that will likely change in the next year. And so this felt like a great connection. And Councilmember Fig Sanders suggested reaching out to this organization. We had a great conversation, and I got to know a little bit more about what y'all are working on and thought that I would throw my hat in the ring to see if I could be helpful.
Thank you, Mr. Mathis. Okay, and then the final person up for the seat is Cal Tiger out of Clearwater for Business. Is Cal on right now? I do not see him.
I do not see him on the participant
I
list.
spoke to him yesterday, and and he was supposed to be here today, but he has not joined. Okay. So that is for the business seat. If you will take notes, like I said, at the very end, we'll have one ballot, just like in any other election, where each seat will be presented and you can vote there as well. We're not going to go one by one. Okay, for faith-based organization, we have Dr. Joseph Smiley. Dr. Smiley, are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Hey, nice. You have 2 minutes, sir.
I can do it. Bless you. We're grateful to be present this morning with all those who are on the line, and we're excited about being able to share for 90 seconds. I'm the Dean of Social Science and Human Services at St. Petersburg College. I'm over the Social Science and Human Services program here, and I'm responsible for all of the campuses countywide where the programs are offered, and we offer programs on all of the campuses. That's my campus-wide responsibility. I'm currently the interim provost of the Clearwater campus, responsible for that for the next 6 months. And we're excited about that. As a part of my work in ministry and as a part of the work of faith-based opportunity, I've been a member of Mount Olive Emily Church, 600 Jones Street for 47 years. And the entire time that I've been there, the idea of helping those who are in need has been high on my list and high on the work of the list of ministry of the church. We have 2 major programs designed around those who are homeless, especially because Pinellas Trail is a traffic of a lot of homeless individuals coming down that trail daily. But every week we have a program that we clearly implement to impact this population. Every first and third Saturday, Mount Olive Emily Church then provides hot meals for the homeless, all that will come from downtown Clearwater, all along the trail, the Clearwater Trail, and all around that area of Clearwater. And they're open to come. Every first and third Saturday, they know and they report. And they come, and we do all we can to provide hot meals for all of those who will come. And then, of course, secondly, second and fourth Saturdays, we have a ministry at the Safe House in North Greenwood, where we provide for the homeless and all of those that are insecure. We provide averaging anywhere from 80 to 100 families every second and fourth Saturday. So we're dealing with the homeless both as a general aspect of the community and at our Safe House operation, and we deal with those who are homeless and are in fact in need at the church. Two basic aspects of it. On the one hand, hot meals first and third. Second and fourth, we simply provide boxes of food or bags of food for those who are seeking that. And we have special bags that are designed for those who in fact that are homeless to be able to accommodate the kinds of things that they would normally need. And we've been doing that now for over 20 years on both sides of it at the Safe House. And of course, the church has been doing it longer than that. So I am pleased to say that this is indeed a group that I am very concerned about. In fact, Christ calls us to be concerned about those, and those who are not, they're failing to meet that mandate. So our church is a strong proponent. I do believe that I can assist this particular organization, CoC, in a very special sort of way of being a strong advocate anywhere, but especially in North County. So I'm pleased to be a part of it, pleased to be considered. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr.
Thank you,
Smiley.
Dr. Smiley.
Okay. Lived experience. Michael Cretion, are you ready?
I know Michael's here. He just made a comment.
No,
There he goes.
Here.
Okay. Okay, I've been with the CoC for a couple of years now. I've been one on the LEAC as co-chair of the lived experience for a couple of years now. And I've seen some of the changes in the charter. I've seen some of the changes with our own LEAC committee. And I like the direction we're going. Though this year is going to be particularly challenging. I think it's my last year eligible for the board, but I'd like to make it even count more. And it's going to be hard because we got so many forces working against us. And I believe I bring value by bringing an analytical and experienced voice to the table to make sure people understand that homeless are not just some sort of nameless thing, like a variable in a program language, variable A, we don't have to worry about it. No, it's real people with real stories, real lives, who have issues, who happen to be living in a car, couch surfing, or being on the street, or in temporary housing. And I want to make sure everybody realizes that it's real people that are being affected by decisions being made and from both the federal government, state, local, and at the CoC level. So I think I can bring value in providing that voice. So that's my pitch. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael.
Okay. Thank you, Michael. Okay. Second candidate for the second seat for lived experience is Gary Small. Gary, are you on? Ready to go?
Gary is not on the list.
He is not in. Okay. Okay, I will say Gary, so Gary has served as a co-chair with Michael on the Lived Experience Advisory Committee, and he is a part of the Data and System Performance Committee. He's been a part of the CoC board, a regular contributor and member, and also the PIT Planning Committee, and is active in Cold Night Shelter as well. Okay. Next, we have a veteran organization, Judith Warren. Oh, I'm sorry.
Can everybody? No,
You go on. We'll do that.
Okay.
Yes, we'll do that.
All
I'll come
right.
back to at large after. Thank you.
All right. Good morning to everyone, and thank you for considering my nomination. My name is Judith Warren, and I am the Chief Program Officer for St. Vincent de Paul Cares. The largest work that we do is with the veteran community. So I oversee the county's work in housing veterans and sheltering veterans. Again, I've been there with St. Vincent de Paul for 2 years. I'm currently a member of the Provider Council, 15-year resident of Pinellas County, but over 30 years experience in nonprofit and government leadership. I have extreme passion for helping those that are unhoused. My history of work before coming to St. Vincent de Paul Cares is with working with children and families. And I know April Lott will share my sentiment. I have watched way too many children stay in foster care because their families could not find housing. And most recently, it has been disappointing to watch those who have served our country become unhoused and really need that quick support of our organization. I also sit adjacent to our shelter, and I have day-to-day contact with the individuals that are unhoused in the St. Petersburg community. I'm also recovering from substance abuse, which brings me, I think, a very unique lens to help this very vulnerable population. So please consider my nomination. Thank you.
Thank you, Judith.
Thank you, Judith. Okay. And then we have, we're going to go backwards a little bit. At large, we have 2 seats, both Teresa Jones and Anne Marie Winters. I know that Anne Marie is very ill and gave us notice about that, so I don't believe Anne Marie is on.
No. And Teresa's out of the country.
And Teresa's out of the country and gave us notice of that too. She's in Jamaica. So, but both have expressed interest in renewing their terms. And we had no other at-large members apply.
They're both phenomenal board members, fully engaged and knowledgeable and hardworking.
And then finally, our workforce development and transportation up for re-election is Ross Silvers with the PSTA. Ross, you have 2 minutes.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Ross Silvers with Pinellas Suncoast Transit Authority, running our public buses and other services here in Pinellas County. I've been a member holding this position with the CoC board for a couple of terms now, and I'm very active with the PIT as a team leader and a trainer, and also involved with helping make sure that PSTA is a strong partner for everything from cold night shelter nights and free transportation there to ensuring our partnership with Pinellas County and the Healthcare for the Homeless program, and working with all of our nonprofit agencies who are so dedicated to serving folks who happen to be homeless at the time, making sure they get transportation. I'm also a strong advocate for people with disabilities, seniors, and those who are low income for transportation and accessibility as a whole. And it'd be my pleasure to continue serving the needs of the community the best that we can, working together. Thank you.
Thank you, Ross.
Okay. There you go. Making sure no timers go off anymore. That covers all of the candidates who will be on the ballot. So now it's time to, for all the newer members, we did send out their application forms as well. It's important to note that some people, could put down multiple areas where they were applying for, and then it was through a vetting process and charter to figure out where people were best suited to fit. So I'm going to now, Amani, are you there? Do we have anything that needs to be raised from the chat? Okay. We're all good there. Very good. Okay. On occasion, we are going to check on that as well. Yep. Okay, thank you. Okay, so let's put in the link for the oh, Sam.
Sam,
Oh,
Sam has
sorry, Sam Picard.
Sorry, yeah, there was a question in the chat about the healthcare seat. And I saw the applications, of course, but I was curious why Dr. Discola wasn't in the healthcare seat rather than I saw that she applied for the business seat, and I know that they are a business member, but they are a healthcare business. That seems like a way to get all of those pieces of expertise on the board rather than leave one out.
That's a great question. This is something that was under discussion quite a bit, looking for more of since it's healthcare, EMS, and fire, it's more looking for that physical healthcare side, and especially with the way that HUD priorities are going, having someone like a Baycare seat or somebody from a large hospital or health department or fire, rescue, EMS um, would round out more what the board is made up of. And so, and I think that that raises a really good question, a good something to consider for this next election, this next year. And that is having a solid nominating committee put together to go through and really vet through everyone.
And that'll happen, Sam, in 2026 as well. But there's some new legislation too that may be coming down related to hospital discharges and things like that. And I think it's just really, I would hope to have someone from a hospital system serve in that healthcare seat because there are so many intricacies that touch our homeless population that way.
And while we're talking about that healthcare legislation that's going through Florida, Monday and Tuesday there were two bills dropped, one in the Senate from Senator Ralston, and then on Tuesday in the House, and they're very similar. And the Senator Ralston's bill, we were not aware that we were going to be a pilot site or being mentioned as a pilot site, but Pinellas County for hospitals that are discharging, and it's to prevent hospitals and other institutions, ALFs, from discharging into homelessness. And after reading through that, I had some concerns around basically the capacity of lead. It puts some on the lead agency and on HMIS for every single institution, every healthcare institution in Pinellas County to be entering into HMIS. And you can imagine, Sam, you've been DSP committee, right? How much work that will take. And there was no funding attached to it. So I've spoken with FCEH's legislative liaison, Brian Cherry, and he's working out with me and also with Duval County's lead agency and with Senator Ralston to get together and discuss that more. But things like that's coming down would be really good to have larger healthcare entities involved, for sure.
Sherry, there's a question from Michael Gelazzo.
Michael?
Yeah, sorry. I'm going to turn my camera on. I've got my fantasy football press conference background, so I want to take that off. Sorry. Did win my championship, but putting that aside, I think to Sam's point that Monica does bring a level of expertise, but I'm hoping if someone, I don't know, Kathleen or anyone else can, I was looking forward to hearing from Cal Tiger. And the idea of having more expertise is good, but I'm kind of feeling like someone from North County as a business seat would be well as well. And I don't know if anyone can speak on behalf of Cal and his background and experience so that we could, understand that as well when we vote, please.
I don't know that anyone else except for I have met with Cal very recently. I reviewed his and we've discussed him as well. The only thing I know is that he has attended a lived experience advisory committee before, and that has been his experience with the CoC. He recently applied to be
I'm sorry,
member.
but I'm
There
sorry
you
about being
are.
charged, but here I am. Okay. Just right on time.
Okay. Well
Sorry
then,
about
Cal,
that.
we can give you your 2 minutes to speak.
Oh,
Appreciate
perfect.
it.
Thank you so much. I
Okay.
appreciate it. Yeah, my name is Cal Tiger. I'm a local entrepreneur and angel investor based in Clearwater, Florida. I have been homeless, right in this area But now, things have gotten much better. I have a small AI company, which is growing, showing signs of rapid growth. And at the moment, we are still small. However, we've got a lot of, partnerships and, various customers we're working with. Presently, I'm working with a company called Rivian, which happens to be an EV truck and SUV manufacturer. I'm doing some remote work with them, so that's why I was so busy here. However, I'm an entrepreneur, angel investor, and and fairly might say a social entrepreneur who is interested in solving this homeless problem that we have here in Pinellas County. Anything else you'd like to know?
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm happy to make a donation to, your nonprofit. I mean, if that's not considered a conflict of interest.
So, hello, we can hear you.
Yeah, I'm saying I want to bring funds and resources, and I have a feeling I could bring a lot of funds to this problem, in the sense that, but a lot of my other people in my Rolodex are people that have a lot of money, and and I think I can persuade them to provide funding, and other resources. I'm a businessman, so we primarily do deals, so that's what I bring to the table.
Thank you. Appreciate you applying.
Thank you, Kathleen.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Deborah, you have your hand up?
I do. I have a quick question. So, just so that I'm sure of the business seat. So we have 3 candidates, but we have 2 vacancies, or 3. Okay, so here's my support for what Mr. Pastor Picard said. We have 3 awesome resources that are willing to participate with CoC, but we have 2 openings. I don't want to lose anybody. So if Dr. Discolo will be present, her voice will be present, she will still be active, she will still be here. Could she not take that one health seat until we find someone, and that the other 2 can take that business seat? Because I don't want to lose anybody. I don't want anyone that's interested, because that has been one of our biggest wants, is that we have a full and participating board. And to say we only have 2 seats with 3 strong candidates, to me, I think, would be a loss to us not to take everyone that wants to be visibly and obviously engaged. Just my 2 cents. Thank you, everybody.
I couldn't agree with Council Member Fig Sanders any stronger, although I rarely do disagree with Council Member Fig Sanders.
Thank you, April. We're going to do it by hands here, and remember, we have charter procedures to follow as far as the election. Go ahead, April.
I just wanted to offer that I also agree that we don't want to lose anybody who is interested in joining us. I would strongly encourage Monica to become a member of the Providers Council. As a member of the Providers Council, we have opportunity to be elected and serve as a service expert and on the CoC Board of Directors. I've said this at every annual election, when we have more people who want to join us than we have seats on the board, and where her expertise could be most and best used is at the Providers Council table. So I want to strongly encourage that. And then I agree about the healthcare seat, and just in terms of where we're going in the direction that we're going with the NOFO and with HUD's direction, that we really need a hospital system or EMS EMS to be a part of our CoC Board of Directors.
I'd like to add, as far as for the Providers Council, one of the requirements to be on the Providers Council is to enter an HMIS, and New Seasons is a for-profit. Yeah.
So we could maybe look at charter to.
Yeah. Well.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll need to look at either the Providers Council charter and even the CoC charter as well around some of these seats and exactly like the descriptors and what we're looking for. Because I know I've reviewed some previous minutes, and when it comes to business seat, even like what constitutes a business and what we're really looking for, chambers of commerce, that sort of thing as well. So it does get tricky here. After April,
Can I just add a quick comment, Madam?
To Cal, yes.
Is it okay? Yeah. Just wanted to mention that just today, it so happens that I'm helping a lady that has been homeless for quite a while. I'm helping her get situated with a laptop and, getting her some other assistance. So, I think I'm doing my part. So I'd like to just mention that, and I'm paying money out of my pocket to buy her a laptop and a few other things. So thank you.
Michael Gelazzo?
Sorry. I think it's actually important what April said doesn't get lost here, because I agree. As much as I don't want to lose any expertise on this board, I think that, correct me if I'm wrong, but people who are on the board should be CEO level decision makers for their organizations. And while we have lots of organizations who bring a huge voice to the Providers Council, I think Dr. Descola she said she runs the mobile units for New Seasons. I like New Seasons, so I think it's a great addition, but it might be more appropriate for her on Providers Council than the board, because since Kathleen, since you brought up the charter issues, I'm wondering if that becomes a charter issue as well.
It's a charter issue for the Providers Council too. So
sorry, I can't find the emoji to raise my hand. Is it possible I could say something?
Yes.
So my role at New Season is not just overseeing the mobile units. I work in the corporate team, and I oversee our connections with primary care, which we have at over 30 of our centers. And our mobile units go directly into tiny homes and indigent areas. So that's exactly what those serve. But we do coordinate with primary care all over Florida, all over the country. I also oversee Uber Health, and I serve on the board of directors for a nonprofit that serves women's healthcare. So I am fully vested and do work in the corporate team for New Season, and I do more than just our mobile units. I'm currently auditing one of our mobile units, and I'm parked in a parking lot of a homeless site camp. So I'm very vested in that, and we oversee more than just, hey, here's your substance use. We provide counseling. We also coordinate with primary care that we host in our sites. So I am very versed in the healthcare field. So that's more than just my role. And then I did apply to the Providers Council, and due to being a for-profit, I was not able to have my application received for that. So I was encouraged to try again and apply and try to have a voice in the CoC, and I don't get discouraged very easily. So I'm definitely trying to just apply again and get myself in there.
Thank you. Michael?
Yeah, Dr. Descola, please don't take what I said as disrespectful. We're partners with you guys and think the world of New Season, everything you do. I just know that this has been a challenge being on the Providers Council and being on this board I used to have darker hair when I started. That this issue has come up many times on the ability with votes, and that it has to be like there's a whole process. And you're right, Kathleen, it is an issue for the charter on the Providers Council as well, because it had to be like CEO level. I don't remember the wording exactly. So I just think that that's something that we want you to participate. Please understand that. I don't want you to take anything I said as meant as anything disrespectful. I know you somewhat. I know your organization very well. So please don't think I'm discounting anything you've done, because I think being a part of this
I don't believe
key.
that. I don't believe that. I didn't take it any kind of way. I remember you from when you used to run the meetings at the Goodwill Correctional Facility.
We still do. They're mainly virtual now.
So your hair was darker.
It was.
Councilmember Fig Sanders.
Okay, thank you so much. And hopefully y'all in the conversation so we can go ahead and get to voting. But again, that was my whole purpose, is being engaged in those same conversations and knowing some of our challenges with being fully manned in some of these positions. So, Dr. Discolo, I think that you are the apple of our eye. You are a prime participant of what we want here in COC, and you have so many different areas in which all of your expertise will be beneficial. So again, I kind of wanted to echo what Mr. Gelazzo said, is that you are definitely going to be an asset wherever you end up here on COC. And I just wanted to make sure that was clear. And so thank you, Sherry and Kathleen, for clarifying the charter issue. But I do think that that's something that we really do need to look at, because today is a good problem. We have more awesome resources. And I think, one of our next conversations that we probably need to have after this meeting is how can we fully utilize those that are interested to be in COC, elected or not. So I'm glad we had this conversation. And I think that's kind of why I wanted to prompt it, so that everyone that's on the call can see some of the issues that we're dealing with in regards to staffing some of these. So I appreciate everybody that's willing to work with us. Thank you so much. Thanks, Chair Kathleen.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilman.
Totally agree. And I'd like to say one more thing, and that is that any seat that's vacant today is still able to be filled after this election. It's just in a different, the board of directors would decide.
And that anyone is welcome to, attend meetings and have public comment. Okay, we ready for the election?
We are. Imani, are you able to drop in the ballot?
Let's keep our fingers crossed here.
Or we may both do it at the same time. There we go. In the chat, you will see that there's a ballot. Please click on that. If you have any issues accessing it, let us know. Let's give 10 minutes for everyone to complete.
Hopefully like 5. I mean,
Go through, hopefully, 5 minutes, and make sure that for the seats that have one vacancy, then you can do up to 2 votes, and you can also abstain. You have 5 minutes.
Zach, if you guys can hear me, can somebody tell me how we're voting my
there's a document in the chat, Lieutenant Hayes, that you can download and then just click on and it gets submitted.
Are you able to access that?
Yeah, and you really don't have to download it. Once you click on it, it just opens up
right there.
and you just feel it's real quick.
That was easy. That went
took less than 10 seconds.
It was good.
Yeah, testers. Okay, I'm going to take myself off camera there's still another minute left to vote, but I'm going to take myself off camera and work with my team to make sure that we are getting a good, accurate count that we can report back in just a minute. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we vote for the other seats and just click abstain if you're running for a seat?
You are, if you're a member, you can vote for yourself even. Mhm.
Hey, Lisa. Oops, hang on, let me. Okay. I am getting the final results. Okay, so we have the results, and for the business seat, It's a Jason Mathis and Monica Discolo. Jason had 19, Monica had 18, and Cal had 5, 0 abstentions. For lived experience, both Gary Small and Michael Cretion were selected. For at large, the 2 seats, both Teresa Jones and Anne Marie Winters, will continue. There were no abstentions. For the veteran and veteran organization, Judith Warren was selected with no abstentions. For workforce development and transportation, Ross Silvers was reelected with no abstentions. And for faith-based organization, Dr. Joseph Smiley was selected with no abstentions.
Thank you, Sherry. Thank you for conducting that for us. I think it went smoothly, considering this is our first all virtual meeting and the election. So thank you for conducting that. And again, there will be some scheduling changes for 2026 for open board positions. It'll be earlier. It'll occur in 2026 or earlier. So I want to just take a minute to extend my sincere gratitude to each of you who volunteered to run for a seat on our Continuum of Care Board of Directors. So serving on this board is one of the most meaningful ways people in our community can help us work together to respond to homelessness. Board members do a lot more than just oversee policy and funding. They help set priorities, ensure accountability. They elevate voices with lived experience, which is so important. And they keep our work grounded in the shared goal of housing stability, dignity, and equity for every person we serve. And so strong, committed leadership at this board level is essential to building a coordinated system that is effective, compassionate, and responsive to real needs on the ground. And by putting your name forward, you have demonstrated a willingness to lead, to collaborate across sectors, and to take responsibility for the collective impact of our work. That commitment strengthens not only our governance, but the entire continuum of care. And for Mr. Tiger, I would encourage you to choose a committee or more, one or more, to serve on. Your voice is important in our continuum of care, and you can certainly be fully engaged that way. And I appreciate you applying.
Can I have a quick question, Kathleen?
Sure.
Okay. The Workforce Development Committee has one other place, correct?
Workforce Development Committee? We don't have a Workforce Development Committee.
The workforce, whatever that is. Mr. Ross Silvers is one of the other people, right? You got 2 spots?
It's one seat, workforce development and transportation.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying, okay, do you have any other board memberships available, or am I off the, off from this list, I guess, the board members?
Well, you're off from the list for now, but you can certainly attend board meetings, and you can attend join any of the committees that are part of the CoC. And that's something you and I can talk about. I'm certainly willing to, set up a meeting with you. I'm here in Clearwater as well. We can talk about that.
Sure. Kathleen, right? Okay. Yeah, in fact, I have an office at the 600 Cleveland Street. I don't know if you see that close by there, right?
Sounds
Used
great.
to be the city council's headquarters. Okay, thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you. So anyway, thank you to everyone, and welcome aboard. And we'll have a affirming vote at the board of directors meetings that'll follow. But since this is a general membership meeting, Sherry wants to, and I appreciate that the HLA CEO Sherry is going to take this opportunity to give a few updates on HUD PIT and cold night shelters and onboarding opportunities. So
thank you. And I also appreciation for all the outgoing members. Some, it was a tough decision for them. Others, they had to roll off for a year because they've been working so hard and long with us. And so Blossom Capper, who was in our veterans org seat before, she will still be very, very much involved. Sam Picard, of course, is still going to remain our DSP committee chair. Thank goodness. Thank you, Sam, for all your work. Esther Sani. She is going to start working on the advocacy committee side more. She felt that that was more of her calling and place instead of the business seat. And then Danielle Thomas with the St. Pete Housing Authority is now rolling off as well. She had all of her terms have expired, and so we really appreciate her and hope to have her still work with us in the future.
As well as Laura Hine, who is
And Laura Hine, that's right. Yes, that's true. The school board member, Laura Hine, there's a new appointed member assigned to that seat this year who will be introduced at the board meeting. But very quick updates. HUD CoC program NOFO, it's been whiplash. A lot of litigation it's still under litigation, but so far it seems that the parties have been working together on some joint motions, that's positive movement at least. And yesterday we did receive last night an announcement from HUD, which was required by the court for them to put out some notice to applicants to all the COCs on how to move forward on renewals that are in line with the FY 24-25 NOFO that was conducted last year. That was supposed to be a 2-year NOFO. Still under litigation. They're supposed to provide instructions and application today. As soon as I have that, I will share that with the entire board and of course with all the providers and applicants who've been working with us so far. I know that's been a very frustrating process. I know for me, I have not had a break since November 13th. Thanksgiving, holiday, Christmas, New Year's, all of it. And so I hope that comes out tonight and I can read through it and sleep the rest of the weekend. And I hope you all get some rest as well and then be back out on Monday. I will talk more about that during the board meeting. Then we have a cold night shelter update and call for volunteers. In your agenda, you'll see that there is TV Lee's. TV Lee is our new special projects special initiatives manager. And so she's been overseeing cold night shelter with the HLA and as well as supporting the PIT committee and project managing all of that. You have her contact information, but I do want to put into the chat, we still need more volunteers for PIT. Also, if you have registered to volunteer for PIT and you've not received any information around trainings that are beginning next week, please reach out to TV to make sure that you get that information and are.
It really is. It's almost imperative that members of the CoC join at least one shift to go out and participate in PIT. It's the work we do to reduce and prevent homelessness. We need those accurate counts for funding allocations, and these are the people we're working for, and it's an opportunity to get out boots on the ground and actually interact and learn more about that community if you're not already a service provider or something. Yeah. And the cold night shelters, there's also a little heads up that we may have a cold night shelter on Sunday, depending on the weather. I'm on a email for a shelter up here in Clearwater. So more to come, but keep an eye open for that. Those are usually short shifts as well. And it's just good to pitch in and help when you can.
I know that HLA, we made it mandatory this year that every single staff, everyone in HLA will be volunteering for PIT in one way or another, mostly through surveys, but also we have HMIS working behind the scenes, and we have one person who has to stay behind just to make sure everyone's, managing the store. That's important. So I challenge all of our providers, all of our board members, everyone who sign, please do so. And the link is in the chat. And as far as cold night shelter goes, excellent news. We've had just a couple days ago signed an MOU with the Shepherd Center in Tarpon Springs and St. Timothy's Church. And they are taking on 100 spaces for cold night shelter. So that's going to increase more capacity up in North County. And we also have Allendale added 18 individual beds for or mats for their cold night shelter as well. So that's been expanded in St. Pete.
Great.
There is a program flyer that is in your agenda packet. I hope that you use that. Feel free to share it with anyone. For new board members, I know that in the last couple of weeks I've been reaching out to newer folks who had applied for a board membership. I've been able to meet with many of you already, but I want to do a more in-depth orientation. And so I will be in touch. And for anyone who needs a refresher, that is always available as well. And so please reach out to me. And Alicia Hilton is the executive assistant. If it's very helpful to have her copied on emails for a quick response. The remaining vacancies that we have now for the CoC board is we have one seat for Housing Authority that is open, the one seat for Healthcare, EMS, and Fire. We have 2 seats for non-entitlement communities, and those are communities that are not, they don't receive direct HUD funding so it basically excludes the big 5. Pinellas County, Pinellas Park, Largo, City of St. Pete, and Clearwater. Those 5, so it allows for greater representation outside of the larger areas that we serve. And we also have open appointed seats that have not been filled. So still Funders Council Chair, City of Pinellas Park, and City of Tarpon Springs. I know that we've been working on that for a while, and I know Kathleen and I we've spoken in front of City of Tarpon Springs, and I've been reaching out there too to open it up for more participation. Gary.
Gary, you're muted.
There we go. I just wanted to apologize to everybody. I'm having a little technical difficulties this morning, so I am very sorry for being late.
You're fine. You were reelected.
Oh, was I? Okay,
yes.
Great.
Congratulations.
I am happy with what I'm doing. But still, it's embarrassing when you're late.
Well, thank you, Gary. Okay, and those are all the updates that I have for now. And so,
thank you. Well, we're just a bit over for the general membership meeting at from 9 to 10. But does anyone have any questions or comments before we adjourn this meeting, as we've completed the agenda? And I if the HLA staff can help me with a view here, as far as we've got the agenda. Can't see everybody, but Gary, everybody's okay. Okay, all right. So moved. All right, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much. We are going to start the Board of Directors meeting. Sherry, I think we should just start right away.
I think I agree.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, great. Thank you. All right, so it is it's 10:10, and I'll call to order the January 9th, 2026 CoC Board of Directors meeting. Please turn on your cameras. That's the expectation of a virtual meeting, unless something is malfunctioning and you've let us know that. We're going to start with the roll call attendance from Alicia.
Good morning, everyone. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
All right. Okay, so I will now begin with the official roll call for the CoC Board of Directors meeting, and I apologize in advance if I mispronounce anybody's name. So we'll start with Chair Beckman.
Oh, present.
Council member, excuse me, Deborah Fix-Sanders.
Here.
Secretary April Lott.
Here.
Okay, Michael Christian. Michael?
Here.
All right. Janine Avoli.
Here.
Lieutenant Hayes.
Here.
Okay. School board member Katie Blacksburg.
Here.
Okay. Commissioner Donna Hulk.
Here.
Michael Gelazzo.
Here.
Okay. Teresa Jones isn't here. Judith Warren.
Here.
Okay. Ashley Lowry.
Here.
Councilmember Michael Menino.
I believe he's.
I don't see him on here anymore.
I don't see
I don't
him.
see him out yet.
Yep. Okay, so he's gone. Kevin's not here. Monica DiScolo.
I'm here. I just posted in the chat. I just have to turn my camera off for a moment and go into our next shelter.
All right, no problem. Elise Minkoff.
Here.
Okay. Sandra
Newsom.
Yeah, Sandra Newsom. Sorry. Nope. Commissioner Vince Nowicki. Okay. Ross Silvers.
Russ did have to leave
He left.
today.
Okay.
He gave advance notice.
Okay. Dr. Joseph Smiley.
Here.
Okay. And Gary Small.
Present.
Okay. All right, we're good. We've got quorum.
Thank you. All right, we have the consent agenda that's attached to your agenda packet. Does anyone have any items they'd like to move off the consent agenda? Okay, hearing no objections, the consent agenda is approved. We're going to move on to Part B, which is the ratification of the governance charter and Board of Election procedures. So per the charter, the election procedures need to be reviewed and approved every 5 years. And that was done at the November 18th, 2025 CoC General Membership Meeting. And the membership voted to approve the governance charter and board election procedures. But because quorum was not received, we need to, consistent with the charter, we need to approve the recommendation that's forwarded to the CoC board for final action. So do I have a motion to ratify the governance charter and board election procedures as recommended by the CoC membership?
Move approval.
Okay. Second, any discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye, verbal.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the membership recommendation is that motion passes to approve that governance charter and board election procedures. Now we need a vote of confidence for the appointed CoC board members. And I have that list and I will read it off. And I just wanted to take a minute. We did mention this in the general membership meeting, but a sincere thank you to Esther Sani, Danielle Thomas, Blossom Capper, Sam Picard, and Laura Hine for serving extremely well in our board of directors for a number of years, some of you. And your participation is invaluable and meaningful. And I look forward to their continued participation as CoC members of the general membership. Again, anyone in the general membership can be on committees and serve in leadership roles on those committees. So I thank them for that service. And our new members, and, you know, I'll go through them and we can have a verbal vote of confidence. So we have for Providers Council Chair, Kevin Marone, who's CEO of Boley Centers. 3 service experts, April Lott, CEO of Directions for Living, Michael Gelazzo, who is Executive Director of PERC, People Empowering and Restoring Communities. Ashley Lowry is the CEO of HEP, Homeless Empowerment Program, and she's the service provider expert. Pinellas County Board of Commissioners, Commissioner Vince Nowicki. City of Clearwater, Council Member Michael Menino. City of Largo, Commissioner Donna Holk. City of St. Petersburg, Council Member Deborah Fig Sanders. Juvenile Welfare Board is Janine Evoli, who is Director of Family Services Initiative. Our new Pinellas County School Board member, elected member, Ms. Katie Blacksburg with BERG. I've got to remember spelling of your name, Katie. Pinellas County Sheriff is represented by Lieutenant Haish for Sheriff Robert Galtieri, and Public Defender of the 6th Judicial Court is David Moran for Sarah Molo. And so this is the list of appointed members, and I'd like to call a vote of confidence. So all those in favor, say aye.
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 Anyone have
Aye.
any, thank you, any opposition or concerns? Okay, thank you for that vote of confidence for this list of very highly qualified experts who are, decision makers at that level in their organization who will serve on our board. So I appreciate that.
Can we say welcome to Katie?
Sure.
Our newest, yes, welcome Katie. I'm glad you're here today.
Thank you so much.
And Katie, would you like to say a few words? I know I sent you that email yesterday. So if you'd like to.
Yes. No, I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to, I appreciate Ms. Hines' service up to this point. And, I'm interested in learning more about the organization and ways that I can advocate, especially for our unhoused, youth in Pinellas County schools.
Thank you so much. It is critical that we have engaged people with Pinellas County School District and Board, because you touch so many families that are struggling. And as I mentioned to you in that email, at any time, there's generally over 3,000 children within our county that are experiencing some type of homelessness or instability. So your voice is critical, and expertise. And the other thing, and I, as a former teacher, I like to mention, is that it's really telling, and you should be proud that parents and families in Pinellas County schools feel safe enough to divulge that information, reach out for help, and we can get those kinds of numbers, and it helps with our approach and priorities. So thank you. We have an election of the CoC board chair and vice chair that's going to be conducted by our executive committee secretary, April Lott.
Yes, thank you, Kathleen. So we do now need to take action on the election of our CoC board chair and vice chair, currently held by Kathleen Beckman and Councilwoman Deb Sanders. Both have submitted their interest in renewal for holding these officer seats. So I will accept a motion to move approval for Kathleen Beckman to serve as chair and Councilwoman Deb Sanders to serve as our vice chair.
I'll make the motion. Michael Gelazzo.
Do I have a second?
I'll second. This is Janine Evoli.
Thank you, Janine. Is there any nominations from the floor? Any comment, questions, concerns to be discussed before we vote? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstain? Motion passes. Thank you. Thank you both, Kathleen Beckman and Councilwoman Sanders. I can't imagine doing it without either one of you. So thank you for your continued interest and service.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. I appreciate that. All right, we have for agenda item 10, the status update from the executive committee. And so those of you that have been with us, which is almost everyone who's here, 2025 was a challenging year. Our lead agency went through multiple leadership changes. They successfully fulfilled a corrective action plan. And in the last quarter of 2025, both the CoC and the HLA began, and they continue to navigate with providers and funders and other community partners significant changes, challenges, and ambiguity regarding funding and directives from HUD. It's been very stressful. We also had an early cold night shelter in November. We had one in early this year as well. And work is being done as we speak to organize and conduct the 2026 pit count on January 29th. With that, the CoC is required to evaluate the lead agency, and it's pretty open as to how we do that. Obviously, the executive committee interacts regularly with the lead agency, the HLA, but we wanted to give our board of director members an opportunity to evaluate or comment on the performance of our lead agency with respect to our MOU. And so that evaluation was sent out to you, and Councilmember Fig Sanders is just going to give a brief update on that evaluation. Councilwoman?
Okay, so we switched gears. I thought that was April.
Okay, well, April, do you want, I mean,
Because
okay.
I don't have it in front of me, or I would have gone over it.
Okay. April, would you like to discuss it, or would you like me to take it?
I would like for you to take it.
Okay. So the evaluation was sent out, I think it was the day before Christmas or around the Christmas holidays. The timing was not ideal. I understand that, and certainly it will be improved in 2026. But we sent out the survey, which allowed for check the box as in meets expectations, exceeds expectations, needs improvement, things like that, and then comment. And we had 5 responses, and those were tallied, and the lead agency was evaluated as in meets expectations, which I think is appropriate, especially for this challenging year. There were comments about communication, timeliness of communication, response to communication, and that is being addressed. And, you know, I think, again, the lead agency didn't have a stable permanent CEO until, you know, past the halfway point of the year. Sherry's definitely had great success in kind of righting the ship, and we are continuing to move forward that way. With that, the executive committee, you know, has no problem with a meets expectations, and we look forward to continued improvement and collaboration with the lead agency. And I'm happy that we've made great progress, especially on that cap. That's the update from the executive committee on the evaluation. Any questions or comments from the board about that?
My comment, Kathleen, is that, you know, just to acknowledge that we have made a commitment that moving forward, the evaluation will go out by October. I think we said October 30.
October.
Yes.
To ensure, you know, that the timing was just simply, you know, not ideal for a really good response. And I agree with all the things that you said in terms of the summary of the evaluation. I do think we still have a ways to go relative to effective and sound and timely communication, especially as we enter and continue in this period of uncertainty relative to the NOFO and HUD and the direction of our federal administration and local dollars and local commitments and those kinds of things. Communication, timely communication, frequent communication is going to be even more critical than ever before. But thank you for that presentation.
And can I briefly add to, and thank you, Kathleen, for jumping in on that, is that 2025 really was a difficult year for us as an executive committee dealing with the cap. But I do want to acknowledge Sherry for coming in and pretty much jumping in both feet, both hands, 10 toes, 10 fingers, and actually bringing HLA to a point where we did receive a satisfactory evaluation for the job that HLA had done, because it started out really rocky, and she inherited a climate that, you know, was really not feasible to productivity. So I just really wanted to thank Sherry for that. And I do want to thank my colleagues for continuing to ensure the fact that the mission of HLA and CoC were met throughout all the trials and tribulations that we went through to get to this point. So please know that the efforts of everyone were not unnoticed. And again, I'm looking forward to a positive 2026.
Thank you. Thank you, Council Member. I appreciate that. Okay, April, would you like, April and Councilmember Fig Sanders, would you like to comment on give an overview of our expectations and the board's consideration of all virtual meetings?
Okay, that was mine. So I
Okay.
got that. Yeah, I got that one. So as you all remember at the last meeting, we had quite an extensive conversation in regards to wanting to get additional participation, and there are several pros and cons of both of being in person and also being virtual. And we do understand that because we are, a regional, Pinellas County is vast, that sometimes the location is inconvenient for everyone. And so there was pushback in going all virtual, pushback in going all in person. So, as an executive committee, we wanted to make sure and ensure that we met all of the needs that we need to move forward. So, we are going to go all virtual. And hopefully, we're going to monitor the participation numbers to see if that impacts the involvement of all that are members of CoC, to see how we can work well in getting it done. But we do hope and pray that you give us some grace with technology, because all technology doesn't always work all of the time. We have extra hurdles that you don't have when you're meeting in person. So please know that we did hear you. We heard your concerns. And so some of the members that are not here today because they think that we're still all in person, please let them know that we are willing to, because we want to engage. We want to make sure that everyone is involved, because at the end of the day, it's not about us. It's about the clients that we serve. Any questions? All voices are heard. Welcome to Needham.
I just think it's the right step. And, I know that we've had this debate a million times, and, and I'm encouraged by the fact that when I turned on the wrong virtual background for myself, there were 40 people staring at it. So I think that's a step in the right direction. And I hope that, I get both sides of this argument, but I think it was the right move.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. And I will say, 3 cheers that it has worked well. I think the voting went very, very smoothly. So I appreciate that. It's just such a challenge with a hybrid meeting to fully engage with people who may be on the screen, you might not all see, and the volume level. And this seems to be going very well today. I'm pleased with the engagement, but I will say, cameras have to be on. It's just a requirement. It just needs to be a requirement almost for attendance. We need to know that you're not, multitasking and that you're focused. So anything else, April, on expectations for all virtual?
I think Janine had her hand up first.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm not seeing that. Go ahead, Janine.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah, no, I just wanted to follow up. My recollection was at the last meeting we took a vote on this, and the vote was that they were going to be in-person meetings. So I was kind of surprised when I saw the agenda that we were going in an opposite direction than the vote. So just wanted to kind of really understand that, because I know some of the comments in the evaluation kind of reflected that the executive committee is making decisions and it's not as transparent. So I think that it just seems like that's kind of what happened here, where the group as a whole voted and then the executive committee met and went in a different direction. So can you just kind of clarify that a little bit and what was behind that? I know there's pros and cons for both ways, but it just seems like it went against, I think it was 11 folks voted yes, and some of those were on the executive committee.
So I was one of the ones that voted yes. And yes, I am on the executive committee. But when we looked at the feedback that we received in regards to, see, again, as the chair Kathleen stated, the hybrid, we received so many complaints that you didn't receive. We did. We had so much pushback that you all didn't receive, but that we did. And so we understood, and we really wanted to compromise with everyone's schedule, because for us, the mission of the organization outweighed any battle of in person or all virtual. And as Kathleen said, the hybrid model was just so difficult for us to maneuver. And we did get, some concerns about, those that are in person and we're on virtual and you're not acknowledging us. So it's kind of like an either or. So for those 11 yeses, I was one of those yeses, very much so one of those yeses. But when it comes down to making it more convenient, making it more of a collaborative effort to ensure that we get the job done, we thought that it was the best move to accommodate the majority, because we have how many on COC, Cherry? On the
minimum of 19 and a maximum of like 29 or 30 something. It's a huge board.
It's a huge, and so we want to ensure that we engage. So we wanted to try the all virtual to see if we can win some back. But again, the number one mission for us is to get the job done. So hopefully, the convenience of being virtual and asking you to have your camera on is a admirable initiative for you to want to, work with us in making sure that we get the agency to the next level and where it needs to be. Did that answer your question?
I would like to further answer the question. I have 3 points of clarification that I would like to
go ahead, April.
Respond to Janine's question.
Yeah.
First, it's incredibly important to know that while we took a vote at the last board meeting and 11 did vote in favor, per our charter, we needed a 60% vote. We did not have a 60% vote. We had a 50% vote. So technically, it did not actually pass. And so we needed to take a further action relative to the issue, Janine. Secondly, this feedback of 5 individuals or 1 individual on the 5 people who actually completed the survey, that the executive committee is, operating, making too many decisions in isolation. I think what's important here to note is that we often don't achieve quorum. And in the absence of quorum, the executive committee, in fact, has to take action on things. And so what we're trying to do is to increase participation so that is no longer the case. Speaking as a member of the executive committee, it sometimes feels frustrating beyond measure that we can't get enough people to attend board meetings, and then the responsibility falls to the executive committee. And then third, what I will say is that at that last board meeting, and even to what Michael Gelazzo said, which is that we've had this debate forever, I just want to point out that the debate has not been about an all virtual meeting. The debate, interestingly enough, has always been about a hybrid meeting. Do we have all in person or hybrid? What I would like to say is that, adding this third option, which is an all virtual meeting, is what we are bringing to the table today. I will also point out that this requires action. This is a recommendation coming out of executive committee. However, it does require action. So this board gets to vote on whether we are moving forward with an all virtual meeting format, or we can go back to any of the other 2 options as well.
And April, if I can chime back in to finish up, thank you for those clarifying points, because they were right on point. And the reason why I didn't address the comment about the executive making all of the decisions, because one thing that all of us are experienced with is you have to show up to do the work. You have to be, active. You have to be able to participate to do the work. And so if it appears as though if a small group is making all the decisions, it's because we're present. I just don't know any other way to put it. The work has to get done. So, I apologize, for anyone on the evaluation that thought that to be an issue, but we just have to keep it moving. And I'm very appreciative, that April clarified those other logistics for us. But it is what it is, and we want the best for the organization. And again, thank you, Kathleen, and I'm going to turn your meeting back over to you.
Okay. So the executive committee is recommending an all virtual meetings going forward. We always have the option to call an in-person meeting, but it's you know, technology is not there for us to have this large of a board to have a hybrid meeting and have it run smoothly. And I think that was evidenced at the December meeting, November meeting, where, you know, I was walking around literally with a laptop trying to get, you know, the volume correct for people. It's just not effective, nor is the attendance what we want it that way. And so this is a recommendation. And so
Kathleen, Jason, Michael, and Mr. Small had their hands up for a minute.
Okay. Thank you. I'll look. So can we remove that agenda item thing so I can kind of see the view a little better? But
we can see
okay.
that for
Or
you.
well, go ahead. So who has their hand up? Jason, go ahead.
Jason.
Jason was first.
I will just, you know, we run a lot of meetings in our organization as well, and I agree with you 100%. A hybrid meeting is just not effective. The people who are in the room don't get to hear from the people who are not in the room. People who are not in the room are frustrated, and so I really support either 100% hybrid or 100% in person. The great part about I'm not hybrid or in person, either all virtual or all in person. The great thing about this format is it's really efficient. I mean, you can move through things quickly, and it's a great way to run a meeting in that regard. The only disadvantage is that you don't get that before meeting networking, after meeting, how are you? Tell me about what's going on in your life. So what I was going to suggest is that maybe once a year we get together for a lunch, for a happy hour, some sort of a social event, and I'd be happy to help sponsor it and support it and help organize it so that we can build those interpersonal relationships and actually meet people face to face. And you kind of can get the best of both worlds. So no agenda, no business meeting, just if everybody wants to come out and have a beer or have lunch, our organization will be happy to sponsor that. But that way you get to build those relationships as well. And then we can, when we're in a virtual meeting like this, we can really just focus on the business of the organization. So I just want to throw that out as an option, and we'd be happy to help support that if that makes sense. I do think, though, virtual meetings are really effective and a great way to make things happen. So very supportive of your strategy and moving forward with this.
Thank you, Jason. Appreciate that. Okay.
Next
Other
is
hand.
Michael.
Okay, Michael. Michael Gelazzo or
Gelazzo.
Yeah. So just to clarify, absolutely correct, April. We never did vote on all virtual or all in person, and I'd be open to a vote for that. But I do agree with Jason. You know, that sometimes as we've gotten better with this, because I do remember us having those votes really around COVID when whether we were allowed to or not. In terms of our charter, I do think, though, that it is important that we kind of continue to focus back to the charter on these issues, because, again, that's why we have an executive council to make some decisions in between meetings, and then that council comes back and we vote. And here's where we're at, is we're voting on either all virtual or all in person. And as someone who actually is pretty fond of Jason and has gone to lunch with him, so him willing to put that on, I'm all for it.
Me too.
Great. Thank you. Other hands. Any other hands?
There was another hand. Did he take it down?
Yeah, it's down. I think Gary had his hand up at one point.
Oh, he did. Yeah, Mr. Small, he did. He took it down.
Okay. All right. So so what we're recommending here is an all virtual from the executive committee. I will speak for the executive committee as we're not going to do hybrids. So if you don't vote for all virtual, you know, the next option is all in person. And you know, I think our county is 68 miles from north to south or so. It's a lot for people, and just saying for participation. So do I have a motion?
Can we make a motion? I make a motion that we spend 2026 in an all virtual format and could meet in person when necessary.
Okay. Thank you. So the motion is from Michael, 2026 all virtual and meet in person at our discretion. Do I have a second?
Second. I'll second it, but I will just say for technical purposes, right, that it came out as a recommendation from executive committee. It really only requires a second.
Second, right.
and that we, take a vote.
Okay, all right. So any further discussion? So all those in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, thank you all for voting. That motion carries. So
May
we
I
will,
ask, do we have any abstentions?
oh, I'm
Curious.
sorry.
Just because it's a charter thing, I want to make sure we have at least the 14 minimum.
If you've abstained, please just say abstain.
How many is on the Zoom?
I said aye. I don't know if anybody got it.
What's the number on the Zoom?
I have 36 participants, but some of those are staff.
21.
Yes.
Did you want to just do a roll call to ensure?
I think if everyone has said aye and there's no nays, then if no one's abstained, then
Okay, so you'll go ahead and use that number. Okay, I just wanted to.
Thank you, Deborah, for that.
Yeah.
Attention to detail. Appreciate that. Thank you. Well, I feel good about this meeting. I think it's gone well. Again, the expectation is cameras need to be on, and we appreciate that. And then Sherry's going to provide some HLA updates.
Okay. Yes. So going to continue on with what was discussed a little bit at the membership meeting, but first I want to thank everyone. I know that there was a flurry of communication happening over the holidays between the election, the NOFO, the evaluation, and everything. I know the evaluation document was just approved at the last board meeting in November, and then we had the NOFO drop. And so thank you for it was just a very, very difficult fall and holiday season for sure that I think we can get in front of for this upcoming year. One thing about getting in front of, so HLA has been, when I came on as interim, I noticed that there was HLA had become like, somebody had mentioned it as a three-headed dog. And for those of you, just to clarify, HLA is the nonprofit that is the staff support through MOU with the CoC. And so we are separate entities, but we have an MOU that I liken to a marriage contract in a sense where there are responsibilities and it's reciprocity on both sides. They're laid out and roles. And so one thing that I noticed when I first came into the HLA was that the mission was to be a lead agency, to be the lead HMIS, to be the collaborative applicant, and to help organize the systems and coordinate, bring people together around that, and ensure that the systems are functioning and looking at performance. And I could go on and on with what's in the MOU, but had over the course of COVID, when HLA was first organized as a separate entity, its own nonprofit, just 5 years ago, took on a lot of direct service work. And so it has been my goal with my board, with the HLA board also, to start moving away from that, not to be in competition with providers for the funding that becomes available locally. And also, mainly because in order to maintain our role as a lead agency, we were going into these direct services at the expense of that lead agency work. And so we have been working on beefing that up, realigning roles. There's been some restructuring that's happening. There's still more work to be done there, and it takes a while to onboard people. But we have staff who have been with us for 8-9 years who may have been more involved with the direct service side and have shown that capacity and that ability to move over into the more CoC, broader systems work. And so we are bringing them onto that where it's where it makes sense, of course. So I wanted to say that is the big vision for the HLA internally. That's been the work that we've been doing. Also, I want to thank everyone for submitting the evaluations, and we did receive a few more after the cutoff, well after the cutoff, and still taking those into consideration as well. One of the things that was mentioned
I appreciated all the feedback. I appreciate also the well, I would call it, they weren't, I won't say sympathy responses, but thank you very much for the positive feedback as well. But there was some constructive criticism that I do believe is very much warranted, and that is the communication with the rest of the CoC board. That I meet with Chair Beckman weekly, most weeks at least, and we talk. And then the executive committee, tends to be, I communicate very often with. And then there are the Funders Council and Providers Council. And I don't think everyone sees the entirety necessarily of all the different committees and the conversations that are happening. But when it comes to the CoC board, that is an area that I do believe I need to beef up on. And so with those communications, if I will welcome any comment now around that, or if we could talk about it later. If you want to, we may just send out another survey to ask for more specifics around what type of communications you'd like to see, how often, and so we don't bombard you, and so that I'm not assuming anything either. I would recommend we put out a survey. Feel free, though, always to reach out and let us know, or during comment during this period to share. There are so happening. Strategic planning. This is even with all of the changes, everything that has happened this last year and how it feels, when I've done my assessment, looking back at meeting compliance with meeting HUD requirements as a CoC, that was the responsibility of the HLA and the CoC, that this is the first year in years that there has been a CoC plan, not a strategic plan, but the CoC plan that HUD counts as that. The strategic plan would be even better. Was submitted on time. The gap analysis was submitted on time. We've had all of our HMIS reports, which there are several. Right now, they're doing very deep cleaning for the last month, and I believe this next week will be the final week. It's a intense process of doing the LSA. That's a longitudinal systems analysis. Sorry, and a lot of data cleaning and all that as well. This is the first year that all of those have been met. I can only see 1 year where like a gap analysis was actually submitted many years ago, and so that is, I think, a good direction that we are, as a result of the cap, as a result of seeing some of the areas that may not have been the evergreen calendar, maintaining that. That is helping the HLA with its structures, which has had some work done to it. So going into strategic planning, we've done the gap analysis, we've had the PIT report. We can pull out very clear bullets from all of that around, and we've also met with Funders and Providers Council and received feedback as well as membership, and combining all that to get prepared for strategic planning. Michael Gelazo?
Yeah, I can wait. I was a little confused with something earlier. So if you want to finish what you're saying, then I'll ask my question.
Okay. So with the strategic planning in the charter, it's the executive committee and the providers and funders councils that primarily work on that. We have collected a lot of responses, of course, from other entities and committees. And so the next meeting for providers and funders, they have separate meetings in February. I know that we'll be working on some of those charter updates or reviews and seeing what that's going to look like moving forward too. And so we will incorporate strategic planning in February. It is due to the state by July 15th. So we will be on a bit of a tight timeline, but I think we have a lot of really good information prepared to support that process. The NOFO, there were a lot of disruptions this last fall, and for providers especially, and tracking all of the changes in the litigation and reading all the legalese and looking up uh, federal regulations and just reviewing large NOFOs. NOFO is a notice of funding opportunity. If anyone does not know, it comes down from HUD. It is a very intense process that requires us to put on a local competition. They call it a competition. Put on a local process where we receive applications from all the providers who are eligible and put forward their proposals. They are reviewed and ranked, and then by the CoC Review and Rank Committee that is appointed by the Executive Committee. And then the collaborative applicant with the HLA, we put together a consolidated application for the entire CoC. And then we run that by the CoC for approval, and then we send that off to HUD. It's typically a 3 to 4 month process. In these last couple NOFOs that were dropped, the last one not being enforceable or implementable according to HUD, even we were given 60 days and through the holidays. There have been preliminary injunctions put in place. Right now, there's joint motion by the National Alliance to End Homelessness and the 20 attorneys general, the state of Washington, and so the plaintiffs and HUD, they have put in joint motions, which is at least more, it's not a negative thing. That is positive. That is a positive sign, trying to work together, and they're conferring with each other on this. Just yesterday, HUD did announce that they were, if depending on court order and final court order, they're moving to have this handled quickly. That an announcement that they were going to today how applicants can move forward with renewals. If you'll remember, year and a half last year with the FY24 NOFO, it was supposed to be a 2-year NOFO. So this year we would just do renewals and have time for planning. That really did not happen. And now it appears that they are reverting back to that, but I will not trust that until I see a final court order. And so that we are still on pause on everything and until we see the instructions. But we will keep you all up to date on that as well. Our response to this, though, is that regardless of what happens right now, we know that HUD is changing its priorities and what it's and funding policy. So moving forward, the HLA is going to begin to offer regular grant writing, grant application clinics for the NOFO. They can also be used to review applications for other local funding opportunities as well, or state opportunities. I think that would be a way to support our providers to be more successful and effective when they do go through these processes, which can be very there's just lots of little details to know. So we'll be providing those and sending out more information about that. We're also beefing up our technical assistance to current HUD CoC program recipients. So when HUD does award the funds, it doesn't go through the HLA. They contract directly with the recipients. And right now, the recipients from these funds are the HLA for our HMIS coordinated entry and planning grants. And then BOLI and CASA have the remainder at the moment. And so we will be meeting with them at least quarterly, providing time. We are available more often than that. I can tell you that HMIS and our group has met with some of the recipients already regularly to make sure that they stay on top of performance so that when the time comes around, they know what they're being, what's being looked at, and that everything is being entered correctly. But we will continue to beef that up, and so to provide that at least quarterly with all of the recipients. So that is my update for right now, other than I'm very happy to hear at Cold Night Shelter we were able to secure more beds, another MOU, and increase that capacity. We had a early season this year. It usually runs from November to March, November 15th to March 15th. We had to open early. And this is through agreements with basically volunteer sites. And so they were very welcoming to open early despite the agreement. And I appreciate them for that and being great partners. So now for any questions. I know Michael Chilazzo had one.
Yeah, I just want, if you could clarify, because I kind of got a little confused on a couple things you said, that under your direction that the HLA is going to go after less funding and try to support providers, or because I mean, I guess in my opinion, there's probably roles for different positions, and there are things that the HLA should specifically do that us as individual providers shouldn't, but that we shouldn't be competing with you also. And I'm just hoping that you could clarify what you meant by that for those of us who are providers so that we can understand that a little more clearly. Because I know sometimes you get busy and emails and voicemails and stuff like that. It's always tough to get back to people. I just want to make sure that we're clear in understanding what you meant by that.
We've had like some positions that were covered by local grants, like the United Way, or oh gosh, there's another one, some social action funding that had to do with very specific, like direct level service. It wasn't coordinated entry, it wasn't HMIS, it wasn't um, eh, like HUD funded planning for lead agencies. It didn't support, and so with all of that. So, for instance, if we were doing um, a lot of prevention work that we can send now to, like, we could some contract that out from state funds. If we were doing that prevention work, that was taking up a lot of leadership time and our finance accounting time. It reviewing leases, making sure all the documents are in place. And so that was not freeing up time for the lead agency roles that we need to. It is to be a lead agency, it can't just rely on a CEO to be the collaborative applicant, of course. And we don't have enough funding to have too many people involved in that. If we have a director that's completely focused on direct services, if we have a CAO who is completely focused on reviewing those leases, and the CEO having to sign off on all of it. So just, it really is outside the mission for us to be a direct service provider. That doesn't mean like coordinated entry and helping the family navigation. We're still doing that. We're still doing veteran services and navigation. We still have a diversion specialist on our team. So it's not like everything's going away right now. We're just not moving forward with trying to access more funds that should better be taken by providers. And this happened during a time during COVID. This happened when there was a lot of money out there and not enough providers to really take it up. And so some of that did land with the HLA.
Okay. I to be honest, I'm gonna, and I'm sorry, I feel a little bit more confused, but I just hope that collaboratively, and we all do this pretty well in Pinellas, where I might reach out to April. I have a meeting after this on the workforce side where different organizations figure out how to collaborate together. But we want to make sure that the role of the HLA, because in creating the HLA, and someone else can feel free to jump into this, was somewhat of a requirement of HUD that we had a nonprofit sort of vehicle that wasn't the actual board, and that so there is a role for some of the things that the HLA does, because again, coordinated entry makes sense. It can't necessarily be with one provider. I mean, so I get that. I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page and understanding that how we collaborate with the HLA as providers, and that's what we're talking about, I guess.
Yes. So, and just to make it, one of the reasons for having the separation between the lead agency and the CoC was because of the role that HLA plays. And so when we are a provider and we subcontract funds and oversee funding processes, that can be a bit of a conflict of interest. And so I wanted to, that is part of the issue. This is only for like the really direct client service that the HLA is not even set up for the best, as we're not set up like a provider with that type of structure. We really do need to beef up on this side of the lead agency, the HMIS lead agency, and coordinated entry.
Okay.
But
Any other
but we can talk more about that, and definitely like during Providers Council. And I know that it's been discussed there jointly with funders as well. We can talk more about that too.
Arrow.
Sorry, just adding to that. So I think part of what HLA can help with, like you mentioned, is the gap analysis and services. So you all see the system-wide view of that, and that's where also you know, helping to provide that insight to the funders council also, right, of like, these are some of the priorities that we're missing in our community. This, you know, if you're putting out funding applications, these are where we need providers to fill in the gaps to serve. So I think I've kind of seen that role come through from you all as well.
Yeah, it needs more systems coordination and support.
Any other questions or comments about that? Or any further updates, Sherry?
That's all I have for right now. I do appreciate though everyone's responses, and you know the evaluation happens once a year, the formal one, but please reach out if you have any more questions or concerns. And I think that some things can be cleared up during these council meetings as well.
Right. And then a final reminder about onboarding. If you'd like a refresher about the board position, or you're new and would like, you know, and can schedule an onboarding with Sherry and people from HLA, and as well as myself or anyone else from the executive committee that might join in that onboarding. We can arrange.
All new board members. I will
really need to do that.
So far, but that was very. I'm gonna reach out again to make sure that to give something more thorough.
Okay.
I want to be oriented. Thank you.
You kind of cut out a little bit when I was
Did I?
listening.
I'm sorry.
Just make whatever the microphone is. Okay, great. Thank you for that update. All right, so agenda item 12 is we have some council and committee update opportunities. And we'll start with the Funders Council, which is in need of a chair. I am serving as that interim chair. So we, you know, a goal for 2026 is to get a chair for this committee. The vice chair is Era Woodard with the city of Largo, who does an amazing job and is a great subject matter expert. You know, I would, Arrow, you can chime in here, but and the meeting schedule is there. But I would just say one of my goals for the Funders Council, aside from getting a permanent chair position who is actually a funder in the community, is to get some electeds to serve on this committee. They hold purse strings with their budgets, and I think we need some elected officials who serve on our board to participate in Funders Council. And then I guess the other thing I'll say, and then Arrow, if you'd like to add anything, is it's important to have, you know, all hands on deck and all participants help shape and provide input to the strategic plan that we'll be working on. So this is a great place to do it, to participate in this council. Arrow, anything else?
I'm just going to add one of the reason why we've not had a chair for so long is a lot of people that serve on there are staff for local governments, and currently there's conflict between having that Funders Council position be a voting member on CoC board. So this is one thing I don't know, you know, if it wants to be considered maybe in this next year by CoC board to have that be an advisory position, kind of like how, you know, at local governments we have advisory boards, or, you know, quasi-judicial or what have you, that make recommendations to the bigger boards or the council, but they're not a voting member. just because right now it really is limiting who can be that chair of that to only non-governmental employees. So.
Thank you. Okay, go ahead. Anybody, was there somebody else that was going to speak there? I'll look at my hands. I don't
We have
see
Gary Small.
Oh, Gary Small. Okay, go ahead, Gary.
Am I on?
Yes, you are, Gary.
Okay. I've been trying to get on to say something since we were talking about the meetings. When I first got involved with this organization, we were face to face in the same room and discussions were more robust. People seemed to be more engaged. I've had Zoom crash on me 3 times. I've missed most of the conversations and I never get a chance to add any input. I can't be the only person having this problem. How many other opinions are not being added to our discussions or points of view is my concern. It's just, I mean, I understand we're trying to keep with quorum, we're trying to get people engaged, but in the same token, too, if relevant technology concerns or people can't attend, that's part of the problem why we're not getting things done as productive as we need to. I mean, if you're going to be on the board and we're going to tackle this problem, which is no small feat, I mean, especially in today's political atmosphere, there has to be engagement. You know,
right.
I just don't feel the discussions are getting. You know, we're not having a robust conversations like we were. We're not getting in depth. We're not communicating as well. Look at the trouble I've had today just to try to. And it usually happens when we have about 30 or more people. I have a problem with Zoom. It wants to crash.
Okay, thank you.
And
I appreciate that, Gary. Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I appreciate that we had that, and you know, I know Sherry and the team at HLA is working with you individually
Okay.
to try to help with that, and that might be your personal device. But I think when we're talking, when you've expressed concerns about getting things done, it's, you know, participate in the strategic planning this year, and we can talk about goals and all that stuff. So that's the place to have that conversation. And I know you're at many, many meetings, which I appreciate. So that's how we'll go forward with that. So thank you. Okay. Providers Council update, April. Any update
And
with that?
Kathleen, we have a Michael has
Oh,
his hand up too.
I'm sorry. Who does? Michael?
Michael Creation.
Go ahead, Michael. Sorry.
Jerry had a little bit of point. We are moving swiftly through the meetings, but there's a reason for that. I think the reason is the agendas are pretty extensive for these meetings, the COC board meetings. We're already at the 2 hour mark. We've got another hour to go, then maybe the executive committee after that. So it does take a while to go through all these, and yes, you do ask questions, you do have opportunities to raise hands or ask questions, but sometimes the moment passed, you forgot you were going to ask a question, and then we moved on. And then by the time you ask the question again, people have to backtrack. So Gary has a point, particularly if you missed some of the meetings through technical issues. But overall, this type of thing it's what's going to be in the future. It takes too much time to travel. It's a large county, like you noticed, and not everybody can get the day off work. Today, I happen to be off work, so it's a compromise. I think it's a good compromise, but we do have to keep in mind we should meet at least once a year. So we can hash out things that don't get hashed out in virtual meetings. Otherwise, yeah, it just has to be move along at the pace. We have to keep up and ask relevant questions when we need to, at the time we need to. And anything that does not get addressed in this meeting, we just have to remember we can always bring it up at the next meeting. We do meet regularly. So it just needs to be kept in mind. That's all I have. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. And there was a suggestion in the chat from Sarah Madden at the Public Defender's Office. For those with technical issues, there may be opportunities for them to meet up and join with others at one site to get online to improve, connectivity. So that's something we can follow up on that may help with that. Okay. Any other hands up? Anybody who's looking at a big, large view? Okay. April, go ahead with Providers Council. Any updates that you'd like to?
The updates are provided for everybody in the packet. I will say that there has been a handful of meetings where we have met with a select group of the funders and providers in response to the ever-changing NOFO and trying to be ahead and be prepared for what we thought might be coming down before it was pulled. So that report was included in Sherry's report a little bit ago. I will say that the Providers Council schedule is attached. Our next meeting is on February 20th. If you're interested in participating and or observing and or attending. And then we made a decision some time ago that the majority of our meetings actually are joint meetings between the Funders Council and the Providers Council, which seems to be highly effective, I might add. And that next meeting is on April 17th. I do just want to say to the group, though, back to kind of communication, swift communication, those kinds of things. There may be a need for emergency meetings of Providers Council or Funders Council alone, that kind of thing, as we attempt to navigate the ever-changing NOFO environment. So I will just say that, but currently we are scheduled for Providers Council in February and joint Provider and Funders Council in April.
Okay. Any questions for April with the providers? No, I don't see any. Okay. All right. So the Advocacy Committee, Anne Marie Winter with the Area Agency on Aging, who is a phenomenal CoC board member and who's not feeling well. We wish her well. Or better health. And I work on that advocacy committee, and I'm excited that Esther Sani is wanting to join with us and the members of that committee. So we are following Florida legislative session that's starting next week. There are a number of bills on housing and social services, and we partner with the Florida Coalition to End Homelessness and Brian Cherry. And then Sherry collaborates with CoCs nationwide for HUD and federal level directives and guidance and collaboration. We've also written letters and made calls to our elected officials. We've presented information before municipal governments and other organizations. And a number of us spoke at the Pinellas legislative delegation, including Gary Small from our Lived Experience Advisory Committee. And so that was impactful and good. I mean, we were given all of 90 seconds, but we got up there and spoke. And so we just encourage anyone who would like to be part of the Advocacy Committee to join us. We have virtual meetings, and we can use many more voices. Any questions on advocacy? I'm going to see. I don't think I see any hands. All right. Data system and performance. Mr. Picard, are you on, Sam?
Hey, Chair. Yes, I am. I'm sorry I'm not on camera for the moment. Data and System Performance Committee has been meeting. We needed to make a charter revision for the Data Governance Committee, which it's an interesting piece. HMIS governance used to be part of the Executive Committee, and now is more of a subcommittee of DSP. We changed the composition in that meeting, and so we actually need board approval to address that change. And sorry, give me just a second. So that's one thing that we'll need. we'll need board approval for, and then we also beg your indulgence for one other item. And let me pull that up. Okay, sorry. So the formal recommendation for the HMIS governance is that the governance committee be composed of 5 seats elected by data and system performance, including 2 non-CoC funded providers, 1 lived experience representative, 1 CoC board member, and 1 research and policy representative. So that would be the recommendation from DSP. We would ask, or from HMIS governance, we would ask you to approve that recommendation.
Do you want that approval at today's meeting?
It would be ideal, yeah.
I appreciate that, Sam. I don't know if we, want to have time to review that or understand the rationale.
Yeah, that's fine. That's totally fair. We can bring it back at the next meeting. It's no problem. It's and give you a more full update on that in between.
Oh. Does it hinder the way you operate for until the next meeting? Is it a significant hindrance?
What the issue is that we were asked to form the data governance committee was formed to take on a governance role, and so it's effectively a subcommittee, but its composition hasn't been really the committee's composition hasn't been really set. So this just puts in practice who's there. The key issue is making sure there's provider representation, but also that there's not a conflict of interest in how HMIS governance is executed.
Okay. The thing that struck my ear was the 2 non-CoC providers, and so I'd like to understand more. So if we can put it on the next meeting's agenda, I think that would be best.
You got it. Okay. And then the one thing that we do need today is, following HUD's mandate, we no longer collect gender and instead collect sex. Our recommendation from the committee is that's a data quality benchmark. So we need to set that formally. It's previously been set at 95% or 99% collection as the quality benchmark. The recommendation from the committee was to move that to 95%. Because there are potentially people who will have challenges identifying with the binary sex, and so we anticipate potentially some more difficulty getting to 99%. So that's our recommendation.
Okay.
Move approval.
Mm-hmm. I move. Yeah. So we're gonna. So we'll take a verbal vote. Any further discussion on Sam's request to change the percentage for quality from 99 to 95, or from you change it from 99 to 95 for the sex question for people who may not identify as just male or female. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. So it's two actions combined. One is to stop collecting gender, start collecting sex, and to set the benchmark for sex at 95%.
Okay.
All right, so April, the motion is to approve not collecting, only collecting binary information for the sex question, the gender question.
Okay,
Yeah,
does it still need a second?
It's coming out of committee, so I'm assuming we only need a second, but yes, my second or my motion is to accept the recommendation of this committee, which is to change it from gender to sex, and to lower the percentage from 99% to 95%.
Okay.
Does it still need a second?
Sure.
Go ahead and you can second it. And all right,
okay,
so
second.
We've got them bundled together, the sex question as well as lowering the threshold to 95% for quality from 99. Any further discussion?
Has his hand in the air.
Lieutenant Hayes.
Right, go ahead, Lieutenant Hayes.
Yeah, do we need to do we need to open end this motion a little bit more? This sounds like it's the only first instance where we've come across the gender versus sex notation and how it's how things are coded? Do we need to leave this a little bit more open-ended so we don't have to vote on this every time?
I think we need to, I think that's a valid suggestion, but I think we need to all be aware of the directives that are coming down from HUD and approve those changes as they come.
Yeah,
Anybody else?
can you say more, Lieutenant H? I'm not, tell me what you mean.
Yeah, this is the first instance where we've had to change the term because of how it's in our terminal, in the HLA's terminal, and on the data performance committee. It might just be the only time that we've found it so far, is what I'm trying to get at. If there's other areas where it's gender versus sex, do we need to leave this motion open-ended so that it matches, so all terminology matches, so that we don't need to continue to have the same vote?
I understand. I think that's valid. I would agree with that.
So something like that we are, that we move to empower the Data System Performance Committee to make all necessary changes to be consistent with new language coming out of the administration or out of HUD, so that it doesn't require coming back here, time and time again for the same vote. Is that so Sam, what do you think about that?
I think that sounds like a great idea. Thank you.
Okay, so I would support that. I would make a amendment to my motion, which is to empower the System and Data Performance Committee to make all necessary changes, including gender versus sex and 99% to 95%, to be consistent with the direction of HUD and the administration.
And I accept that amendment.
Great. Any questions or concerns? Some of you look a little, Dr. Smiley, you okay with that? You understand? Okay. All right, good. You're on my little strip here of what I can see right away. Okay. All right. Then all good, Dr. Smiley?
Yes, I'm good with it. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Then all those in favor of that recommendation say aye.
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 Okay. Any nays? Any disapprove of that? Any abstention from that question? That vote? Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Sam.
And Kathleen, I will say that I do think that this will come up in other areas of the CoC. So for example, language around, housing first will need to be modified on a go forward basis, and will be, I know that housing first language, for example, is used pretty consistently in our funders' RFPs and other local funding opportunities that require a housing first approach. And so I do anticipate that we're going to have to, discuss, that we will need to discuss, that we will want to discuss on a go forward basis, some of those additional changes that we will get once the NOFO has been formalized and in moving forward.
Yep. Yes. Agree. Okay. Gary and Michael, report from the leak committee. Any updates?
You just met last night, and it went. We actually ended almost ended early, so everything was better. I didn't attend December's meeting, but it was kind of spicy then. But this meeting went very well so far, and I just made the recommendation that we make a mid-year review for the committee, so that we see where we've been this year, where we're heading for the last half of this year, and it kind of jives with what I'm hoping we can do with the CoC, or at least the board of the executive committee can meet at least the mid-year in person to do the same thing, so that we can see where we've been in the early months, then wherever we need to go particularly with the NOFO staff in the HUD probably reworking their voodoo on next year's stuff rather than being sued to oblivion like we are this year. So other than that, yeah, just a mid-year meeting. I think we're going to be having just solidly on what we hope to accomplish and what we've accomplished the first half of the year versus what we're going to accomplish in the next half of this year. That's all the updates I have, unless Gary has something different.
Okay. Gary, anything to add? Thank you, Michael. Gary? Anything?
No, other than we've improved the flow of our own meeting slightly. Stopped going off on tangent conversations, but no, Michael pretty covered it well.
Okay. Thank you guys for your leadership.
Although, if I have a moment, because I am having trouble with Zoom, Lieutenant Hayes, I did send you a text. Thank you.
Okay. And I will say that LEAD committee is very well attended. There are probably, I don't know, 12 to 20 people that attend monthly.
Oh,
yes.
I would like to plant one seed food for thought. Is Michael brought up a point where they were talking about making our meetings shorter. Before we do that, could we give us time to work on it to make it more productive? Because if we make it shorter amount of time, we'll get less done. I want us to be able to get more done. And we're just not being productive enough, in my opinion.
Okay. That's something for your committee to decide. Yeah, y'all.
I'm just saying, hey, you know.
Yep. Thank you, Gary. All right, Dominique, are you on for the PIT Planning Committee?
Yes, ma'am. Good morning, everyone. Almost afternoon. My name, many of you know me, but I'm Dominique Randall. Just doing an update on the point in time committee. As mentioned at the beginning of the meeting, point in time is happening on Thursday, January 29th. We are actively recruiting, and I would say we're a little under on recruitment. Currently, we do have 319 individuals registered to volunteer. However, inevitably, some people will have a conflict or something last minute. We're hoping to get another 30 or so volunteers. We are also low on our team leads, so we will be deploying like years previous and smaller teams of 3 to 5 people. And so some people may be we may be reaching out to individuals to promote you to team leads. If you have anyone at your agency, in your personal social networks that are looking for volunteer opportunities, please share that. I'll put it back in. I'll just drop the link in the chat when I'm done speaking as well. So again, we are shortest, most in need of volunteer team leads. Training does begin on Monday. So there have been registration links sent out already this week to register for trainings. We are offering 2 in person, Largo and St. Pete, as well as 5 virtual. They're very large capacity for the virtual and in our in-person, as obviously many people are returners. And we will be scheduling potentially an emergency makeup training the following week if we're still needing that. Law enforcement, we've had Officer Copeland and Pinellas Park step up and kind of champion across the law enforcement agencies. We know of 7 agencies that are participating. We're anticipating at least 40 officers from Tarpon all the way down to Gulfport and the beaches. Then youth, we are going back to targeted youth events. So we had some new members join our youth subcommittee and they decided to go back to kind of championing events or block parties at 2 day centers. So Ready for Life and Family Resources will be hosting events at their sites to engage with our 18 to 24, those unaccompanied youth, and offer some extra incentives, food, and things like that for the day of. We were able to translate the survey again, complete updates for English and Spanish, both virtually and on paper. So that is, we're continuing with that. Apparently, we have not been able to track how many Spanish surveys were being taken digitally. So that is something we did add this year, but the response has always been that it's been very minimal, but we do continue to offer that translation. Marketing did an excellent job this year. We had a new kind of need. I might have been presented at this committee at the board a couple months ago, for the need for fundraising. And so that will be a bigger need for the upcoming year, as there were a lot of incentives kind of rolled over from years previous. But marketing and the HLA were able to successfully fundraise over $3,000 for incentives. Incentives are no longer allowable under the funding source from HUD. So that is something that will need to be increasing for the coming year. And with that, our last meeting is February 10th, and we will be taking the season off until August. So we'll be reconvening in August. If anyone has any interest in attending our wrap-up meeting, we kind of go through the highs, the lows, the outcomes of surveys and assessments. We'll kind of get an early idea of numbers, and which will then we'll move into the analysis, which Dr. Freeman Gerhardt has been tasked with. That is my understanding again this year. And he'll be doing that report that will be coming out in the summertime. So any questions, please reach out to me directly. TV or Tan Van Lee over at the HLA is their point of contact. And thank you, Monty, for putting the link in the chat. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Dominique, for leading that. It's a Herculean effort by a lot of people to coordinate that. So appreciate that. One suggestion I had on the meeting earlier this week was, if we do have a cold night shelter before the 29th, I would encourage people who volunteer at those cold night shelters to make an announcement to the people taking shelter about the pit count and what it's about and the importance of participation and what to expect in their community. Ideally, it'd be great to have, it'd be great to have a cold night shelter the night before the pit count, but if we're going to have one, but otherwise it's, if you do volunteer, keep that in mind, because, yeah. Thank you, Dominique. All right. We have open discussion. Does anyone have any questions, concerns? I had asked people to take a look at the CoC website. There is a lot of documents on there, a lot of great links. A number of links go right to our lead agency, the HLA, but we have our guiding documents, our charters, all that kind of thing is on the website. If there's anything that you don't see that you think should be there, one thing I noticed is I think the evergreen calendar should be there for the CoC, just to, for especially board members or people who participate in general membership, know what's coming when, as far as the pace and timing of events and activities. Like elections and pit counts and all that stuff. Yeah. Anyone else have their hand up for comments about the CoC website?
Kathleen, I've said this before, I'll just say it again. There is I wish that we would have on the front page, a donate now, right? Like, so there is a tab, and you can go to the tab and get to the, to the donate button. But just for a sense of ease, if somebody wanted to make a donation, to make it very easy, that there's just a, donate here, donate now, that would take you to that same place, would be my continued recommendation.
Yeah. I think that's an excellent point. And under that little donate button that's visible is, your donation helps fund, 4 or 5 bullets of things so that people know exactly what it's going for. I think that, yeah. And I'm sure that's an easy change, to just move the donate button to the front. So I can work on that.
I do have a question for you, Sherry. So on the tab where it says get help, and then it says, request help from the HLA, who's manning that or managing that, or how often are they managing that? Is there an alert if somebody clicks that button? Is it timely?
Yes. We have a halftime person that we've kept on, and we also have a diversion specialist who also monitors anything that comes through. And we have one of our program directors, she also receives it as well. And so they it is for anything that the HLA particularly helps out with, it's pretty limited. However, we do referral and information
to different organizations. So is it kind of like a 211-ish? I mean,
it's Like the
Otherwise,
hotline.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But if you go to that, if everybody clicks on those links, right, I'm not expecting you to do it now, but I would just, suggest that in the like HLA contact form, the narrative or whatever, that we are being clear with people, right? How often this is monitored, what the, if we have a part-time person who's right, like these are monitored on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, but I just don't want it to suggest, right, that if I'm clicking into this contact form, right, that I need the HLA to assist me with something, that I'm going to get a response the same day, within an hour. I mean, whatever it is, right? Like we should put in the narrative how often these are received, how often they're checked, what the response time might.
I think the response time is good. You can expect a
Yeah.
response within 2 days or 2 business
I think
days.
that'd be good too.
Yeah, something.
We should have something very specific there. And I know it is checked daily for sure, but I as far as response times, those have actually been much quicker than they had in the past, but they were always within the week, and now we've been doing daily. But I'm going to make sure that we put something that's reasonable, realistic. There is one line in there that does say that if, for a quicker response, of course, to go to 211. But I will work with the team on getting more specifics put in there. So thank you for that. And I also want to say that we've noticed a lot of, it's time for us to do a big website cleanup. And there are, some redundant information in there, staff links that don't exist anymore, that sort of thing. And so we have also contracted with Megan, who used to work with us, right? She's up in Vermont right now, and we've contracted with her to go through the entire website, take away any individual staff email addresses that are sprinkled throughout, put in our more generic email distribution list so that we know multiple eyes get on it and it doesn't require all this change. So that's been a process too.
Great. Candace, Miss Wagner, Ms. Candace.
Hi, can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
I'm using these for the first time. I've been collecting notes, creating notes along the way, and I just wanted to formally introduce myself to those who are unfamiliar with me. My name is Candace C. Wagner, and I am the Senior Case Manager with the Shepherd Center of Tarpon Springs. And I appreciate the time to even introduce myself. I really do. I've had the privilege of, meeting several community leaders across several agencies. And what stands out is that we all share the same sentiment. The collaboration is essential if we are going to move forward in a meaningful way. I immensely value being in the field. I am a face-to-face person, and continuing to strengthen and expand our partnerships it's so critical so we can, bridge those gaps and minimize the time necessary to help each individual person. That's one of my main priorities right now, identifying the needs and knowing what the next concrete step is, because there's a lot of, oh, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this. There's 1,000 resources out there. So that's another thing that I'm working on. That 211 contact, most people that come to me, they're very frustrated with that, and I completely understand. For many, phone access is an issue, so the follow through and the system navigation are significant barriers, particularly for individuals experiencing mental health, behavioral health, substance use challenges. Many of them are unmedicated. A population of particular concern are the transient population receiving fixed incomes, such as Social Security, often around 1,000 per month, who remain among the highest priority for myself, yet have minimal to no viable housing options. While home share programs exist, many are understandably hesitant to move in with strangers and deserve safety, dignity, and stability. This directly impacts coordinated entry, as many of these clients are assessed, prioritized, and remain active in the system, yet continue to wait due to limited housing inventory and short or unpredictable voucher application openings. I'm currently working on program development focused on transportation barriers for individuals who actually want to work, workforce engagement, and more intentional needs assessment, just to, as I said, bridge those gaps. I'm beginning to see more sex offenders who are seeking employment and stability, trying to stay out of the, recidivism. Of course, those barriers are more significant than the average, transient. And that's just kind of like a thing that's forgotten about or not really thought of because, they are who they are for obvious reasons. People feel the way they do. I completely understand. It's just, they're kind of there. And I feel like that's more unsafe than us knowing exactly where they are. So if there's like, and this is just me, this is a personal project in the future, dedicated housing for sex offenders who have been released from prison, because most of them are violent, aggravated offenses, can't be near the schools. Housing is limited because who wants someone like that living there? And it just continues. So it's just like, what do you realistically want them to do? And, Florida is a hot spot for sex offenders. It's warm. It's, there's so many transient sex offenders. It's overwhelming to say the least. But, outside of that, I look forward to collaborating with everyone and contributing to solutions, and just reminding myself, like, this is just a basic human aid. This isn't, politics. This isn't whatever. This is, everyone deserves basic human needs: water, shelter, food. That's it.
Yeah.
Everything else is additional. Who wants to work 90 hours a week? I mean, I get it, but everyone deserves basic human essentials.
Yeah.
And that was everything that I really wanted to discuss. The only question that I actually had was, can you point me in the right direction or person to speak with with the CoC, because I am new to this role, so I want to understand the exact process and where I fit in my role with that.
Sure. You can reach out to me, Kathleen, the chair of the CoC, or Sherry Holzbacher, the CEO of the HLA, and we can meet with you and help you understand where you might best fit in. But I appreciate you attending, and I appreciate your partnership with St. Timothy's and Tarpon to help with the cold night shelter. Yeah, there's Sherry's got her email. Yeah, and we will reach out to us through Sherry, and then we can set something up for sure.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you. Thank you very
much. Everything from me.
Yeah. Okay. Anyone else with for open discussion? I wanted to take a minute to congratulate Michael Cretion, who is he's on the executive board. He's also one of the co-chairs of the Lived Experience Advisory Committee. He earned his degree from St. Pete College in December, and they had a wonderful graduation event that was absolutely packed at the Baycare Sound in Clearwater. It was a lovely evening, and the pride and celebration was just absolutely palpable at that event. It was really amazing. So congratulations to Michael. And I know that he's going to get his BA right next, which is amazing.
Yeah, that's where I'm gonna start next. And I appreciate you attending and giving me cookies.
Yeah. All right, other good news or success stories. Anyone? Well, the good news is we got through this first all virtual meeting and a voting in pretty good shape. Arrow, what have you got there?
Well, I just wanted to give a huge shout out. I don't think the Housing Authority is on here, Pinellas County Housing Authority, but the ribbon cutting yesterday was amazing for, I think it was 80 senior units of affordable, beautiful apartments. And the walls are already going up on the next phase, which will be another 80 completed by December. They were saying the first phase, they completely filled 100% occupancy in 2 months. And then they're hoping for the third phase in 2.5 years. So just want to give them a shout out because I know that vision's been in the works back even under their former director, Debbie Johnson. So it was really cool to see it. And so many people came out to celebrate yesterday.
It was senior living, and it was just, again, phenomenal attendance, and yeah, the people are filled. It's filled, and they're out there, and they're loving it. All good reports there. So thank you. All right. I think we're good then. I will thank you all for being part of the CoC board, for lending your voice, for attending this meeting, for caring. Please do join a committee. Please sign up for the pit count. Even just 1 3-hour shift is appreciated. And volunteer at a cold night shelter if you have one in your community and you're able to do that as well. Keep your eye out for those announcements. And our next meeting, which will be virtual, is Friday, March 6th. And our executive committee members will stay on, and we'll roll into our executive committee after that. And with that, the meeting is adjourned at 11:47. Thank you all very much. Have a nice
you.
Mhm.